Lochani, I think we can appreciate that for the coming weeks, the EFF is going to be hot topics and everybody will be speaking about them. In entertainment, we say there's no such thing as bad publicity. So I hope the EFF can ride the wave to their advantage going to their third elective conference. Advocate Dali Mpofu was invited for an interview to clarify some of the things that CIC, Julius Malema, has said. And I think he did very well and conducted him in a very professional manner. You know, advocate is the one that always comes and put it in a legal, political sense for all of us to understand. So I want to break down this nice interview that he did, and then also continue doing our job to see what the leadership of the economic freedom fighters are thinking.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I'm your host, Kagiso Hlongwane Zinjiva Sono, and we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, guys, I want to continue giving the EFF some airtime. It's very important. So many things that the CIC has said, so many things that need clarification. Some of us, we analyze this information wrong and we put the EFF in the bad light. But once it comes from the EFF leadership or the top people in the EFF, because Dali Mpofu is no longer a leader as things stands right now in the EFF, he's just a member. It's nice to hear it from them. So our questions are answered. What are the other leaders thinking about what Julius Malema said? Not what King said, King thinks, but what the leadership of the EFF, the people who are in the EFF, what are they thinking about what he said, you know? And no other better person will give us a clearer perspective on what Julius Malema meant. So when it comes to this whole addressing of the ground forces of the EFF, is it a blessing in disguise that Floyd Shivambu has left? Can we count it as a blessing in disguise? Let's hear what the advocate had to say.
You had something to do with it.
But trust me, even when I was far away, I was glued on my laptop watching the briefing live. Yes. I want to begin in the beginning, advocate. Maybe let's start there. Were you surprised by Floyd Shivambu's decision last week to say, I'm leaving the organization?
Yeah, surprised is a understatement. Shocked. I think that the organization was generally shocked. You know, I was saying to someone today that, you know, an organization is like a person. It has feelings, yeah. It can be happy, it can be sad. And I think generally we were all shocked and sad last week. And what really happened was that this was obviously unexpected, and it hit us hard, particularly at that level. But much as an organization is like a person, but it also is an organization of many people.
Yeah.
And so we can't be, you know, wiping our tears for months and months on end. The show must go on. And that was really what most people don't understand. For example, with what the EFF president was saying last week, and what was saying when he was addressing us as the ground forces.
Yeah, help us understand.
Yeah, I think when the CIC spoke about leaders that were silent, Dali Mpofu falls among those ones. I checked their accounts, all of them, Umpile Maudwe, Dali Mpofu, Advocate, Busisiwe Mkhavane, even Carl Nihans, all of them, they said nothing, little next to nothing, you know. So the CIC had to address them, and I think he was in his right to say that. And people were thinking when he said your wife or your whatever liked Floyd Shivambu's post, did he think also that they were speaking about his son? I mean, we know Sizwe is very prominent in the podcast space. He's very opinionated. What a beautiful podcast. I would advise you guys also to follow and subscribe to that podcast. He does a great job, but he's also the son of Dali Mpofu, and Dali Mpofu is in the EFF, but at least he's not a leader. So we knew who the CIC was talking about. It was quite obvious who he was talking about, even though he did not mention the name, but we all knew what he was talking about. So I want to hear Dali Mpofu, Advocate Dali Mpofu. Why was he silent? Why did he not say anything?
Why some people find problematic some of the things he said is that there are people, even within the EFF, that are pointing fingers at some of the leaders of the EFF. I mean, Julius Malema spoke of people that are quiet. I'm sure you've seen some people thought he was referring to you.
Well, fortunately for you, you are the only one who knows that you had invited me here even before that speech. No, look, the issue, as I was saying, I mean, where we started, we were all shell-shocked. Maybe some people were even confused. But what is worse is that the membership, I mean, people like me, I'm not a leader of the EFF anymore, but because I'm a former chairperson, people will phone all over the country, what's happening, totally confused and so on. So it was important. I thought that the most brilliant thing was to start the process of addressing the membership and showing the posture of the organization. So the issues about the other issues really, I mean, you know, they'll sort themselves out. The important thing is that we have a political program and we have to consolidate the organization. I think that it's a blessing in disguise in a way. Again, this is what I was saying to some of our members and leaders. It's a blessing in disguise. It's never good to have a crisis. But if there was ever a good time to have a crisis, it's a good time because we are 3-4 months away from our national conference. So obviously how we come out of that conference, how we consolidate, and we are also about 18 months or whatever to the local government elections. So those are the most important milestones. It's our conference, it's the local government elections, and 2029. And to do that, you don't have to wait for 2029.
You start right now, and what the plans are. But to be clear, not for a second last night as you were speaking, did you think, is he referring to me?
No.
Because you didn't say much really on Twitter.
No, I didn't. But no, I never thought that.
Okay.
And I've heard so many theories today about he was referring to this one or this one. But, you know, those are people who probably don't know the CIC. If the CIC wanted to talk about me, and I think he did yesterday, he did. He said this.
Fighters, I think we must appreciate that the scenario that broke out there in the EFF is unique in its nature. I don't see any other pairing in any other political party that was so close, so glued together like Floyd Shivambu and the CIC. There isn't. I'm thinking, what other breakout of president and deputy president can cause this much of a drama? You know, there's no. I mean, if Paul Mashatile leaves Cyril Ramaphosa for Mkhonto Wesizwe, it's gonna be a big thing, but it's not gonna be this big. You know what I'm saying? If Kenny Kunene leaves Gayton Mackenzie, they're not a good pairing anyway. You understand what I'm saying? If we had to look at all the presidents and deputy president of each political party, I think you can admit that the CIC and Floyd Shivambu were the perfect pairing, if we can put it like that. So I don't blame, again, the leadership of the EFF for being silent, because remember, this thing just happened last week, Friday. It's still new, still fresh. So I don't blame them for you know, reserving their comment for some time. It's in a week now. Now they are free to speak because the CIC has called the ground forces and spoken to them. So the other question that was very important to answer is, what does Dali Mpofu think is going to be the impact of the departure of Floyd Shivambu? What does he think, including on that impact, is also the speech of Julius Malema, how people view Malema now, and also how he's handling the whole situation. What does he think the impact is going to be?
In time.
What impact do you think all of this is going to have on the EFF, especially after what Julius Malema said last night? What impact are you seeing as the organization? I mean, Julius Malema last night said, if you want to leave, leave now. He was also making suggestions about people who are trending on social media, that some within the EFF want to have him, and I'm talking about Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi here, contest the position of deputy president. And Julius Malema said, be very careful also of people who are propped up also on social media. What impact does this have, especially ahead of the elected conference later this year?
Okay, well, I didn't hear him saying anything about Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. But the impact that it's going to have on the EFF depends on us. As I say, we can sit and weep for the next 3 months, or we can build our organization and come out stronger from our conference. There's no doubt that this will have an impact on the politics of South Africa. It's not a small story. It's something, as you say, even when you were overseas, you were following it. So, but the question as to whether that impact is going to take us closer or further away from the promised land is in our hands. It's not in the hands necessarily of one person or the president of the EFF or the Secretary General and so on. It's the EFF itself, as it has done since 2013, must decide how it is going to take on the struggle. And my own view is that, as they say, in politics, you must never waste a good crisis. So this might well be an event that's going to rejuvenate and in a way also clarify who's who in the zoo. So if there are people who are half here, half there, they must make up their minds.
Where are you? Are you half here, half there? Are you in the party?
We are all here, but also people expect us. You see, an organization, a political organization like this is a voluntary organization. So if you come and join the EFF, we don't have an interview and say, why are you joining Clement? So when you leave, we also are not going to have an interview. It's a voluntary association. It's a
I like what he said when he said, it is now going to clarify who's who in the political party. I love that. And I also agree about timing. I think this is a great timing. If it happened like 1 month before the conference or 1 month after the conference, 3 months after the conference, it was going to be somewhat of a disaster because it was going to be too close to the next local elections. Because the elections are what now, 16 to 18 months away. So it's going to be a problem. I'm happy with it's clarifying who's who. And I hope, and like Julius said, I hope the people that want to leave, that they will leave now before the conference. I mean, it's not a selfish act to leave. It's just an honest act to say, I'm no longer happy, I am going away. So it is true. It is in their hands as fighters. Put the brains together in one room. Talk about this thing honestly and say, guys, we had a blow to our party. How do we handle this? It's in our hand how we control. Understand? And like I said, for me, Floyd, and I have to repeat this, Floyd does not bring crowds. Yeah, they lost an intellectual person. It's like the ANC losing what's that mother again who was the minister of international relations, Naledi Pandor. You lose an intellectual there, but you don't really lose on the ground forces that much. You understand? Naledi Pandor, for me, I can compare him to Floyd in terms of the knowledge that they have of politics and the stature of persons that they are. So people like that, even Abong Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, you don't want to lose that wealth of knowledge that they have. But if you lose it, it does not have too much of an impact on the ground. For me, I feel like Floyd also is, I put him on that pedestal. That it's not someone that you don't want, you want to lose. But if you lose him, On the ground, you're not going to lose 15,000 people. You're not going to lose, 100,000 people that follow Floyd to the MK. Yeah, you might lose 10, maybe 100, but nothing close to the thousands. Now, you guys can tell me on the comment section if you agree or not. So it's in their hands. What they decide now, their attitude. I mean, carry this wave. Podcasts will be speaking about this. The news will be frying this, trying to badmouth the EFF, trying to make it seem as if it's a big crisis that they can never recover from. You know, that old saying that is the beginning of the end. Everyone will be saying those type of things. So ride this wave so that you can control the narrative that is out there in the public. I'm also interested in hearing, does Dali Mpofu consider Floyd Shivambu's action as betrayal? Does he think that Floyd has betrayed the party?
Which is why Julius Malema feels so betrayed by Floyd Shivambu. I mean, even yesterday he said, even last week he said, this is someone who helped co-found this organization.
Absolutely.
Do you see it in your view as a betrayal? When you look at someone like Floyd, who helped build this organization, as you say, from nothing, do you see it as a betrayal? Because Julius Malema last night says, this is someone who's gone for his own political gains.
Well, you know what, the relationship particularly between those two is well known. I mean, I represented them in 2012 in the ANC disciplinary hearing. And even then, coming from the Youth League, and as he said last week, it was not just a friendship, it was a brotherhood. So it's almost like, as I said, losing somebody who's close to you, or a divorce, or some other loss of that sort. So those kinds of losses either go with a lot of sadness, which is something we felt, or a feeling of betrayal.
Is that how you feel?
In the sense, well, to the extent that we were not taken into the confidence, I do feel that way. I feel that, and by the way, there's something strange where I've changed about how I feel about it, because last week I was of the view that maybe what the former deputy president should have done is wait until the conference, address all of us and explain himself. But over the weekend I thought about it and I think I was wrong. He was right to do, the minute he felt that he was no longer with us, he took the right decision to then go.
But he didn't explain why, because even Julius last night says, I asked him, what did I do?
No, he did explain. He didn't, of course, he didn't say, when you're saying that, you are assuming that the problem was with the president of the EFF. He explained it in his letter. He said it's a revolutionary act. But so that's what he explained. But you don't expect us to go to our members and say, oh yeah, we're coming here to talk to you about the Revolutionary Act. We can't, because this is somebody who is now part of the opposition or the competition, so to speak. We're going to have an election in about 2 years' time. We can't be handing out roses to those people that we're going to be contesting against fiercely. As the competition and as opposition, not necessarily as enemies, but this is politics. As I said, it's not.
It's clear, ladies and gentlemen, this is a betrayal. I'm still feeling dumbfounded that I got it so wrong, because I said this is orchestrated by both the CIC and Floyd. I said these people, they're probably making a beautiful act for us. Maybe he's been deployed there. In fact, in good terms, they're saying, please borrow us Floyd so we can make use to him, and please announce to the public that, listen, should he wants to come back, he can come back. We'll bring him back after the local election. Something like that. It looks like I was wrong. I hope it comes out in the future that I'm right. I'm going to ring on it if it comes out that I'm right. But for now, I'm clearly wrong. It is a betrayal what Floyd did. And the biggest betrayal is him not saying it to the public. For me, I don't believe for 1 second that the leadership of the ANC don't know. Like the top leaders, those who are close to Floyd, they know the reason why he left. It's not a political revolutionary decision. No, there is a reason. I was speaking to one of my friends today who gives me political advice. I hope one day I'll give him some airtime to have an interview with me here. Such wealth of knowledge, an ANC guy. He said, listen, it's possible that a woman might be involved and money might be involved. He says those two things is the two things that can make men fight each other like nobody's business. And if there's a woman that is involved, then we will never know because they can't take it out. These are grown men married with children and everything. They're not going to say it if there's a woman involved. If it's money, it implicates maybe both of them. We are also never going to know. We're just going to hear that it's a political decision. Unfortunately, we have to live with that. We can't be asking Floyd to tell us why he left forever. The funny thing also, Clement asked Advocate Dali Mpofu that does the constitution of the EFF allow the amendment for Floyd to come back when he wants to come back? And it's a very serious question. I want to hear what Dali Mpofu, how he answered that question.
As the ground forces and as someone who was the first national chair of the EFF, how do you feel about the option that Julius Malema made available to Floyd Shivambu last week? He said it's not in the constitution, but as leader of the party, he's giving him the opportunity. Should he want to come back, that door will remain open for him. I mean, is that in the constitution of the EFF? And if it's not in the constitution of the EFF, why would Julius Malema unilaterally just decide that's the door that he's going to open?
Well, again, it's not a Julius Malema thing. Remember, as I said, we're going into a conference in a few months' time. All of us are giving all sorts of suggestions. This is the season for that. So if, for example, we decide in our conference to change that clause, this is the time for that. I've made a whole lot of proposals, as I do whenever we're going to have a conference. Some make the day, some fail, some get disappointed.
But he didn't say we're going to discuss this with other members. He said, I am making an exception. That sounds like that's not a collective decision.
Well, I mean, you're talking in a press conference. It's not like you're in some doc talking under oath. I'm saying organizationally, the only way that he can achieve that is that he will take it to the organization. Currently, the organization is run by Central Command team. He might take it there. But as I say, fortunately, we have an NPA where those kinds of changes. And I would think that given forget about the Floyd Shivambu thing, given the seismic changes that have happened in the political landscape this year in particular, we are looking forward to a very vibrant conference. And the other thing, the problem is people assume that there's no debate in the EFF, and then they conclude that that is so. There is fierce debate all the time. That's why he made the example where he said, I was there. And
when other EFF leaders wanted the EFF to join the GNU.
Yes, this is true. It happened just now the other day in Kimberley when we're having our 11th anniversary. As usual, when we were together, we talked.
I think Julius was just putting a helping hand for a brother there to say, listen, should you want to come back, you can come back. But I don't think Julius meant that. I don't think he meant that. Because if Floyd was leaving without telling him why and everything, without giving him reasons to improve, if Julius did something wrong so that he can improve and not doing to other people and all of those things, there's no Floyd that's coming back. For me, if I'm in the EFF, I would not even welcome him back, because how do you trust him? Unless if you deployed him to the MK, yes, you can welcome him back. But anyway, should they want to amend the constitution, the conference is coming up. Those suggestions can be put in there, and maybe they can amend some of the things in terms of that. But for me, I think that was a good rule or law of the EFF in the constitution to say, listen, if you leave and join another political party, you can't come back. I think for me, that's solid. It gives you that assurance to say, once you sell out, we can't take you back. And that is why I loved so much the CIC saying he refused to join the government of national confusion because of other political parties, anti-revolutionary political parties like the DA and the Freedom Front, because for him, going in there and working with those people is equal to being a sellout. And if I'm telling you, if the EFF made that move, it was going to destroy the voters of the EFF, including myself. It was literally going to push us to the MK party. So I just wanted to do this interview of Dali Mpofu. Really enjoy listening to him. A man full of wisdom. I don't think he will be a leader anymore. He was the first national chairperson, but I don't think he will be a leader again. He's too busy, and I think the role that he's playing now allows him to have a life also, if you know what I'm saying. So give me your thoughts on the comment section. How do you think that he handled this interview? Did you like what he said? Did he answer the questions properly? Do you think also in the future he might be punished for what his son is saying? What a stupid thing to even suggest anyway. But anyway, politics, it's unpredictable. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I will always thank everybody that has supported Paseta, sending the 50 Rand. I mean, every end of the month, I think I'll give you a report. I gave you a report last month. I'll give you a report end of this month. Thank you to the people. We said we are looking for 10,000 people to send a 50 Rand. 10,000 people to send the 50 Rand so that we can secure. We are this close, you guys. We are this close to securing the land. And once we secure that land, we're going to go crazy, guys. We're going to go crazy. Let's build our own institutions. We cannot fully depend on or wait on the government or politicians. We as civil society, we must be seen doing something, so that the next generation, when they ask us, what did we do? We can point at Paseta and we say, we built that school. It's something that we're going to have pride on. It's going to outlive all of us. So thank you to everybody that have contributed their 50 Rand. Some of you are contributing more. Thank you so much for all the guys overseas sending their money via PayPal. We appreciate everything that you guys are doing for the school. And everybody that is on the community hub and in the different committees, thank you so much for lending your wisdom, your experience, your work, your skills, everything that you are giving us, including your advice. We appreciate it so much. So even there, I want to give a shout out to one of our queens in Lesotho who's on our WhatsApp group, Mama Francisca. She's really a darling. I love her so much. So until we meet again, don't forget to pray. After you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace in Pan-Africanism. I salute you.